We've previously said that respiration includes 4 different processes: pulmonary ventilation, external respiration, the transport of gases, and internal respiration. In a previous video, we took a look at the transport of oxygen, so here we want to turn our attention to the transport of carbon dioxide through the blood. Normally, the lungs excrete the same amount of carbon dioxide as the body tissues are producing, which is about 200 milliliters each minute. This carbon dioxide is transported to the lungs in 3 major ways. The first is dissolved in the plasma as carbon dioxide. This is the smallest fraction of carbon dioxide transport and is only about 7 to 10% of the carbon dioxide being transported through the blood. The second major way that carbon dioxide is transported is chemically bound to hemoglobin. This accounts for about 20% of carbon dioxide transport through the blood. The major way that we transport about 70% of carbon dioxide through our blood is as bicarbonate ions. Carbon dioxide combines with water to form carbonic acid. Carbonic acid then dissociates to form these bicarbonate ions that are carrying most of the carbon and carbon dioxide through the bloodstream. Let's take a look at binding carbon dioxide to hemoglobin for just a moment. Carbon dioxide can bind to hemoglobin to form carbaminohemoglobin. Carbon dioxide transport by hemoglobin does not directly compete with oxyhemoglobin, meaning that carbon dioxide doesn't bind to the same portion of hemoglobin as oxygen does, because oxygen binds to the iron-containing heme groups, but carbon dioxide binds directly to the amino acid portion of the hemoglobin proteins. This also helps make the binding of carbon dioxide extremely fast. It is also heavily influenced by partial pressure gradients of carbon dioxide. The more carbon dioxide there is, the faster it loads onto hemoglobin. Even though carbon dioxide binding does not directly compete with the binding spot for oxygen, carbon dioxide binds much more readily to the deoxygenated form of hemoglobin. This is referred to as the Haldane effect, and because of that, the uptake of carbon dioxide can actually cause oxygen to be released from hemoglobin, and vice versa. The binding of oxygen can cause hemoglobin to release carbon dioxide. The major way that carbon dioxide is transported through our blood is as what's part of the bicarbonate system. Carbon dioxide combines with water to form carbonic acid. This reaction is catalyzed by an enzyme called carbonic anhydrase that's found within erythrocytes, meaning that most of this bicarbonate and carbonic acid is being produced and carried within red blood cells, but not necessarily bound to hemoglobin. That carbonic acid quickly dissociates into an H+ or a hydrogen ion and a bicarbonate ion. We can see that reaction in the equation shown here. Now, that H+ ion is what makes something acidic. This H+ released during the reaction enhances oxygen unloading. We've mentioned in a previous video that oxygen binds less tightly to hemoglobin as H+ levels increase. That means that the production of carbonic acid is going to lead to the release of oxygen from a hemoglobin. This is referred to as the Bohr effect. The equation for producing this bicarbonate ion is a reversible chemical reaction. If too much H+ ion is being generated, it can start to acidify the blood. This H+ ion then needs to get buffered to prevent this acidification. Buffers can help prevent large changes in pH. Hemoglobin and other proteins can act as buffers to prevent these swings in pH, but so can the reversibility of the equation for producing carbonic acid and bicarbonate. If too much of this H+ ion is being made, that H+ combines with the bicarbonate ion to reform the carbonic acid. If our H+ levels start to fall, then H+ can be released from carbonic acid to form H+ again and the bicarbonate ion. This reversibility of the reaction helps control pH levels in the blood. Changes in respiratory rate or depth can alter blood pH by altering the amount of carbonic acid that's actually traveling through the blood. If you try to hold your breath and prevent yourself from expiring for an extended period of time, carbon dioxide levels are going to increase, which will lead to the production of more carbonic acid, and because of that, you're going to release more H+ ions. That's going to start to acidify the blood and lower blood pH. If instead you take fast, rapid breaths out, you're going to expire out more carbon dioxide. That decrease in carbon dioxide levels will cause a decrease in carbonic acid, which will cause a decrease in the concentration of H+ ions, which is going to start to turn your blood more alkaline, and pH number will start to go up. The higher the number, the more alkaline a solution. The lower the pH number, the more acidic the solution is.